I believe it was him. 'Cause I fell asleep on the bed first, if you remember.
That is true.
Yeah,
You were
so
the
it
little
was-
spoon. He was the big spoon. Are you guys tired of spending your hard-earned money just to get terrible pack odds? Well, look no further. Visit my sponsor, EasyMutt.com, for the fastest, cheapest, and most reliable Madden 21 coins. Use code JTibbs for 5% off your purchase. Yo, what is going on, guys? JTibbs back with another video, and this is episode 3 of Tibbs Breakdown with the Pros, where I interview some of the biggest Madden heads in the community, whether they be a pro player, content creator, whatever you guys have it. I bring them all on the show. Today we have a very special guest. This guest right here, met him a while back in 18. Me and him, have a really cool relationship in Madden. Met him in real life a couple times. It's awesome, man. I love, like I said, forming these relationships. And he's someone I consider a brother. The dude is just an overall really cool guy, down to earth. Guy's a big YouTuber, big comp player. Guys, welcome the Madden 20 Bucks champion, Civil. What's going on, man?
Dude, you didn't mention the last 2 IRL tournaments in Madden. We were roommates.
We were, and we will get into that. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. Dallas.
It is fun when you share a room because, you can kind of steal their formations and use them as your own. That's basically why he was my roommate, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna tell a lie. But Civil, like I kind of needed the extra. That's kind of why you were my roommate.
Well, in LA, you ran doubles north, right? In LA.
Oh man, that was such a trash offense at the time. I don't know why I ran it. I don't know, because literally everyone would just send 8, and I was screwed. I was like, yeah, I need it. That's why I played with the Seahawks, because I was like, all right, if they send 8, I could break the first tackle.
Yeah, no, and you could run around with Russell.
I had agile extent. I was like, okay, and you know what I mean. If someone user rushes me with a corner, which I think someone did in the tournament, I can't remember, but I would break all the sacks, and I'd have that extra advantage. But yeah, I was a shitter. I'm not gonna lie.
It's okay.
I hadn't picked up the sticks. Just you didn't have to remind me, Sybil. Didn't have to remind me. I'm trying to make you look good in this. I'm trying to make you look good.
All right.
Make me look bad.
Let's do it.
I already got to shave my head Monday. All right, but anyway, you guys will see that in a future video. So what we're going to be doing, you guys already know the drill. If you don't, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be interviewing Civil, asking him some questions, how he got into Madden, and all the way up to the current point, and what his goals are for the future. Maybe some funny questions, some fan favorites you guys sent me, emailed me, tweeted at me, whatever the case may be. So for our next guest, obviously, let me know if you have any questions. But, Civil, how are you doing today, by the way? I don't know why I didn't ask you that.
I'm good. No, I'm getting close to... I'm going to take a little... After this, I'm taking a nap, and then I'm going to finish editing a Weekend League video, and I'm doing good.
That's commitment, guys. And by the way, it's almost 1 a.m. over here. The guy's going to take a nap, probably work till 6, 7 a.m., and then get back on the grind. That's commitment, man. Hey, listen, I'm going to leave all his links down below. Go sub to him, man. Go sub to him on Twitch. I know he's not streaming much on Twitch. He's on YouTube now, but sub to him anyway, man. Come on, man. This guy's a great content creator, man. Great content creator.
I appreciate it.
And he's funny on Twitter, too. He does have some banging.
I have some good... my tweet game has went way up. My tweets... I've taken more time into them. They're doing way... I'm doing a better job with them. My tweets are actually good now.
It has. I will say that, man. And that's the thing you're going to notice in this podcast, guys. You're going to notice how this dude went from... all right, to like now everything he does is professional, like whether it be his content, whether it be his Madden game, his professional career, and his life choices, man. Like everything's just solid A1. Civil, first question I wanted to ask you is how was your upbringing? And like you can incorporate how you got into Madden maybe.
So how's my upbringing from like, so the day I was born? So like...
Yeah, exactly. Go as deep as you want. No pun intended.
Okay. Pause. So no. So I don't know. I grew up in a kind of a big family at first. We lived in a we lived like week to week, like paycheck wise. Like we lived very week to week. We weren't poor, but we were broke, is the way I'd put it. Is how I always thought, or I think of it now. But we used to live with me and my four siblings, 3 brothers, 1 sister. Eventually got down, because I was the youngest, got down to the point where I was living by myself, so I was almost like an only child, but I had siblings, but I just wasn't living with any of them.
Where were you born? Where were you born? So the
Coldwater, Michigan. So like 2 hours away from Detroit. Really small rural town. Went to a school right next to there. Graduated 76 kids. So like where I live now in Kalamazoo is like the biggest city I've ever really lived in or been to even for more than just a couple days. But anyways, I was a first generation college student, right? And the reason I say it is it's important because
it's big, it's huge.
well, it's huge, but none of my family had ever been to college before, so we also couldn't afford college. I wasn't like a great student. I was a good enough student to go to college. And, you know, when I got my, like, SAT, ACT scores back, we were like, holy shit, yo, Kenny can actually go to college. But we got paid for it somehow. And the reason I bring that up is that's how I got into Madden. And we were talking before off stream or off camera, Tibbs. Yeah. I used to always bug you about money games. Yeah. So the way I paid for my first semester of college was I had a job, but I used a bunch of money, or I used all the money I made from money games. That's the reason I was playing so many money games, because Madden 18, when we met, I was a senior in high school. So I was grinding the shit out of money games, making money to pay for college. So that's kind of how I got into competitive Madden. I realized, like, you know, I'd played Madden my entire life like any other kid, like you did.
So how did you, sorry to interrupt, but how did you get into Madden? Because I don't think I've ever asked you this, and I'm sure the viewers would love to know. How did you get introduced? Like, what was that like?
Yeah, so I mean, I played Madden probably like any other kid did, you're right, as a kid, you know, just screwing around. I played, you know, Madden, 2K, Halo, a lot of COD, GTA, was a big COD guy, actually. Big COD and 2K guy. But I started doing online CFMs in Madden, right? And, you know, just to screw around, just to, you know, really dick around, whatever. And I realized, like, I was good in those CFMs. Like, I would usually win the Super Bowl in those CFMs. And, you know, they weren't good competition, but I was, like, the best player in them consistently. I was like, oh, wow, I'm okay at them. Then I joined, like a $10 tournament one time I saw on Facebook, something like that, something really stupid, really small, and I ended up winning it. I'm like, holy shit. Like, yo, I'm actually, like, halfway decent at this. And then there was a Microsoft tournament up in Detroit 2 hours away that I ended up winning too around that time. I'm like, holy shit, like, I'm not bad at this game. I'm actually pretty good. So I ended up joining a bunch of Facebook groups, right, of different Madden money game groups. So I know you're part of some of them as well. And I'd play games for like $10, $15, $20, you know, whatever. And I'm like, holy shit, like, I'm winning most of these games. And, you know, once you start getting up to $25, $30, $35, $40 money games, you start making decent, you know, that's good money. You know, you start making $100 a day, and a 17-year-old, that's pretty good money.
That's really good.
Yeah, so I wasn't really taking the game, like, I wasn't really competitive at the game, but, like, I wasn't, like, purposely competitive at the game at that point, if that makes sense. Like, I wasn't, like, really practicing like that, whatever. I was just, like, good at the game for whatever reason. I'd use whatever I found on, like, YouTube channels, like, in these games. I was just, you know, halfway decent. And that turned into me joining an Ace Madden tournament, that you were, I think, might have been part of.
Yeah, I used to play those a lot.
Yeah. So, joined the Ace Madden tournament, did fine in that, did a couple of them, became friends with Ace, and then that's how TNC was started. And then ever since then, you know, just kind of skyrocketed from there.
Wow, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I remember, I think TNC was formed in Madden 19.
Very beginning of Madden 19. The summer going into it, yeah.
The summer, because I remember Ace was asking, you know, I think Wint, he asked me, he asked you, obviously, he asked J-Wall, Mom Yogurt Lurk.
Yeah, he had the time was Mom Yogurt Lurk. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's actually nuts.
Dad Yogurt Lurk, man. Those
actually
were
nuts.
Fun times.
You know, Dad Yogurt Lurk with Justin now. Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Well, the funny thing is, I met him because he commented, Jay will always be commenting on my YouTube videos. He's like, I can beat you, you suck, da-da-da. I'm like,
I don't doubt
whatever, dude. Like, and he beat me. That video I put up of him, I had the game, but he played good. You know, that was when contained blitzes were insane in the beginning of Madden 19.
Yeah, no, I remember watching the game. No, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I didn't know he was that good. Like, little did I know he'd beat Skimbo that year and become J-Wall. I was like, this kid's trash. Like, I was like, I remember that. But yeah, that's funny because me and Civil, you know, met in those tournaments. You know, we didn't really know each other like that. And, you know, then we started kind of talking. You know, we labbed a little bit for tournaments. You know, he obviously, you know, you guys already know he's already won a club. You know, I haven't really qualified for any, you know, tournaments. So obviously he's head and heels above me there. But at the same time, you know, we both played competitively, and like, I don't play as much, but he still plays competitively, and that's the cool thing. Like, you can meet a lot of people playing competitively, but I used to see him in tournaments. That's really how I met him. And then I started, like, seeing, yo, this dude's, like, really good. So, like, I'd be like, yo, you trying to, like, lab? Because I remember I'd always ask him to lab. He'd be like, no, money game. I'm like, come on, man, let's just lab. I'm not sure. I'll play you for money next time. And, like, he would always fall for it. So.
I'm like, all right, whatever. But the thing is, Tibbs, you gotta remember, I was just hitting up you. I would hit up, literally, I'd go in every Facebook group every single day, post every single Facebook group, money game, a couple of times, and I'd message anybody I'd ever played a money game with who I thought, you know, I could beat. I'm like, yo, I'm messaging, no offense to you, I'm messaging every single person, money game, just grinding them for hours on hours on
I'm
hours.
not even kidding, guys. Like, if I could find the messages, like, you will see, like, every time I got online, bro.
Anytime I saw JTibbs pop up on, I'm like, yo, money game, you want to play?
And bro, it was probably like that for everyone. Like, it's just insane, bro.
Yeah,
like, I didn't even think of it like that, because like before this we were talking, and I was like, there's like it makes sense, because I'm like, okay, like this dude really was out here like asking for money. He probably played at least 10 a game, like 10 a day.
Yeah,
like,
I would play a shit ton a day. And
so like even like if you could break even, you're fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And the thing is, back then too, I was really smart about it. I was actually way smarter than I was now, because like as I've gotten older, like, I valued $10, and it sounds so bad to say, but I think you'll understand what I mean by this. When I was 17, I valued a $10 money game so much more than I do now, which is such a bad, like, it sounds so bad. But like, so I'd be super locked in, sweating for the $10 game, and I'd never break like my, like, when I first started, I had like a $20 or like $25 limit. I said no matter how bad I thought I could beat somebody, you know, I had this limit on myself to make sure if I lost, you know, I wasn't losing that much. And I remember I kept super close track of it too. I had it all written down in my notes, like what I made each day. I'd tally up at the end of the week.
That's
you know,
the thing, bro. As we get older, we you know, obviously you should always value the value of money, but like $10, that's a meal, bro. Like when you're a young kid, that's a nice meal.
Yeah, no. I hate that it sounds like that, but like it really was. Like I was like, yo, this is my $20 limit. You know, for the day. And if I remember those days where I would lose that $20 limit, and I'd be like, I'm done for the day. Like this is my limit for the day. I can't afford to lose anymore. Whatever, you know, even if I lost all fumbles or, you know, some bullshit, I was done for the day. I was so much more disciplined back then.
That is so hard to do.
And I'm not like that anymore. I can't do that anymore. Back then, though, I was so disciplined. But I think it was because I was so scared of it, and like it was such a new concept to me, where I was so and all I heard, you know, growing up was like gambling's bad, gambling's, you know, don't gamble, it's stupid, or you'll lose all your money. So I was like so scared of it. Whereas now I know I have more like self-control, where I'm not gonna like, you know, put myself in an awful spot. But
bet an arm and a leg.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. Like literally be like, oh, I'll play for 500. You know, and we've all been there. Come on, like if you're a competitor, we've all been there where you lose to someone, you're like, I'll play for like 1,000. You know what I mean? Like
right.
We've all been there. Come on, like we haven't gone through with it, because like who would play this game for $1,000? Come on, but still. But no, I'm glad you brought that up, because I wanted to get into a little bit more about your competitive Madden career, because it's cool to see how you grew up. You know, like, you know, as long as I've known Civil, the dude's always been humble. You know, he's talked to me about, you know, obviously, you know, he wasn't a very wealthy family, and I love the fact that you said you weren't poor. You guys weren't, you know, wealthy.
Yeah, like I had everything. Like if I needed football cleats, my parents gave football cleats, but it wasn't because like, my mom was working 12-hour days to get the football. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You know, they weren't going to the concert; they were buying me football ticket or not football cleats. That's how it was.
The thing,
like my parents.
I love that, man, because like it's so cool, because like me and him come from like different backgrounds, and you know what I mean. Like I know it sounds very cliche to say, but me seeing someone like that who's literally had like, I wouldn't say nothing, but like, you know, was very humble growing up and understands like, you know, you gotta work for your money. Because like I grew up very, I wouldn't say privileged, but I grew up comfortably, and it's just very cool to meet, you know, different people from different backgrounds.
Oh yeah, no.
And
definitely.
I just, you know. What were you gonna say?
No, definitely. Like it's cool to see. Yeah, that's one big thing about Madden, is that I've met a bunch of people from way different backgrounds. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. Now, and I'm, like I said, I'm getting a little bit off track, but I just want to bring that up. I think that's really cool. You know, obviously, like this is not an act, guys. Like I met Civil. Like he's like a brother to me. Like, you know, like all these Madden dudes. Like it's just awesome, because he's very humble. Like it's not an act, and like I want you guys to understand that. Like it's just not an act. But Civil, I actually wanted to get into this aspect, because I've won tournaments before, obviously not at the level you've won, but I remember the first time I won a tournament, I was so happy. It was like $50, but I was so happy. Like I told my mom, like, Mom, I made $50 playing Madden, and she's like, great, you can pay me back for it, you know, for what I owed her at the time, because I'd always be borrowing money. But it was just such a cool feeling. It made me like so hungry to compete. And like I remember the first time I saw competitive Madden, it was Problem playing in Madden 13. In that championship versus Sal, I think Sal doesn't play Madden anymore, but it was like for 100,000. I'm like, bro, like if he wins this game, he's making six figures. That was just crazy to me. So I wanted to ask you how you really got into competitive Madden. Like I get the whole TNC thing, but like what really clicked in your mind? You're like, okay, like I need to like grind this. This is gonna be like something I can take seriously.
Well, it was literally the whole money game thing. Like the money game, I started grinding money games, and that's literally what just led into it. Because, like I said, like I was grinding the money games. I would join tournaments. I joined the Ace Madden tournament. That literally directly from that led into TNC, which led into me learning more about the MCS. I was like, oh, this is just another way I can compete for money. You know, it was like it was just like a money game that I couldn't lose money. You know what I'm saying? So that's literally how it led into it. Like you're
not gonna lose money competing, like really.
Well, I mean, besides like buying MUT, but you know what I'm saying? Like it was like I'm already gonna have a MUT team, so I might as well compete while I'm at it. And surrounding myself with other good players sounds like a smart idea if I want to make money doing this. You know, that sounds like common sense. But literally, just it just stemmed all from me when I was a senior in high school saying, yo, I gotta make money somehow. Like, let's do it.
And that's crazy you bring up the money games, because like I've talked to so many people who like Noah, Joel, who like always play money games. And when you're in that high pressure situation, it's like when you're playing these MCS games, like it doesn't phase you. Like I'm sure you can back me up on this. Like it's just normal to you.
Yeah, no, I think one thing, like if you watch a lot of my games, you'll see me like screwing around, singing a lot, talking a lot during them. And it's mostly like me having fun. Like, cause one thing, like I remember I said this a lot when I went out there to San Francisco for the for clubs. A couple of times I went out there. I was just like happy to be out there. I just thought it was cool being in San Francisco.
It's just it's the experience,
cool.
bro. Like I remember when I lost in 18. I qualified for Redskins in 18 and 19. And I lost both, and I was so crushed. I was like, man, like I don't even care if like I just wanted to qualify, be out there with everyone, like the problems, the Skimbos. The Moes, like I was like, I just want to be out there with those guys. Like that's just so cool. Like,
it's really cool.
It's just awesome.
Yeah, that's why like this year isn't as like painful, like missing out on clubs this year, just because like it's not even in person. Like the money not having the money does suck, sure, but it's not even in person. So like it's not nearly as like I don't know. I'm not nearly as like upset about it really, to be honest.
Yeah, I remember in 18, I think it was, when it was Wint. We would always, it'd be me, Wint, Kwani, Jay, and one other dude. He doesn't play Madden anymore, Michael, M. Brinson or whatever. He doesn't play Madden anymore, but we used to be in parties every day, and I remember they all qualified for their clubs. I don't know if Jay did actually, but he flew out there. But I was like, oh man, like they were like literally FaceTiming me, sending me snaps. I'm like, yo, that's like, and Timor too.
Yeah, Timor.
And they like, it just looked all fun. I'm like, bro, like these tournaments I go to, I'm signing up, but to qualify, like that's like a really cool privilege I'd like to accomplish. Obviously, I've never done it, but I hope to eventually get there in the future. And it's pretty cool. Like all these dudes I've talked to so far have qualified. Like yourself, you won a club. Talk to me about how that experience was, like winning the Buccaneers club. How was that whole thing? Like how was that when you first got into San Francisco, or at least when you first found out you qualified, to winning it and playing in the final 32?
So I never took like the compete. So like I said, like I was a money game grinder. So like I never took like the MCS super seriously. In Madden 19, I got popped by Boogs, got knocked out, and in Madden 20, I remember that. Honestly, so Madden 20, when I lost in the Classic, I was really good at the game in the Madden 20 Classic, like really good. Like like you were there, you believed in me enough to where you bet like actual money on me, and I ended up beating Drini in convincing fashion actually. Like it was a good game, but you
were good as
I was really good at the game, but after that. It was time for me. Like I really didn't do like as well as I'd want. I got top 33. I knew I could compete with good players, but after that, like it was time for me to go back to working my job, and I was going to college at full time. You know, I just paid for college. I had to grind college. It was my second year at college, and I was trying to be like a 19-year-old kid. Have fun, be social. Obviously, this is all before what happened. A year or so before everything. So. When the tournament time came around, obviously I qualified for clubs because it's fairly easy to qualify, so I just played salary cap and got on. But once the actual online qualifications came around, I had like a very basic defensive game plan and a very basic. I just ran the same offense from the Classic, so I was already really comfortable on offense. But like the day before, I didn't practice it. Like the day before, I went up to a city a little north of me, like an hour north of me, Grand Rapids. Hung out with friends and whatnot. Came back, that morning I had to play, and then I just kind of caught fire that day. I think they're all played in the same day, and I won 3 games in a row, and I got qualified for San Francisco. I'm like, holy shit, like I just won $2,500, which to a broke 19-year-old is really fucking badass.
That's really
and on
good
top
money.
Of that,
that's semester's rent. Low key.
No, really though. Like that really was that was like 6 years of rent or 6 months of rent right there for me. Easily.
That's crazy.
But I remember right after it wasn't that. I remember calling one of my really good friends, one of my really good girlfriends, and I'm like, yo, Wally, yo, I just wanna, I'm getting flown out to San Francisco. Like, I'm gonna see California. This is badass. Like, they're paying for everything, and like, it was the coolest shit ever. And then I started thinking more and more. I'm like, yo, like, these are gonna be broadcast in front of however many people, like 10, 20,000, whatever the numbers were at that time. I'm like, yo, like, this could be like a big, like, opportunity for me to get my name out there. I'm like, oh shit. And like, remember during that time, JTibbs, I was doing YouTube for Ace Madden.
Yep,
so,
I remember you do tips. I remember that.
Yeah, so I had a basic understanding. Like, I knew that YouTube was where I wanted to go with it. Like, if I was ever to, like, to get big between competitive and content, I always wanted to go content, remember? Because beginning of Madden 19, I went the content route to a little extent. So I'm like, holy shit, like, this could be a way where I can actually, like, grow myself. So I, you know, had a game plan for everybody I could play in the Final Four. But I also knew during that time, like, I was going to do everything I could to make sure I stood out and to, you know, take full advantage of it. And that's why right after I won that club, I started streaming, and it just kind of all, like, skyrocketed from there.
Yeah, I remember you started doing streams right after the clubs, and I remember that, and you know, and like, I hate to call it the chaos effect, but like, low key, you did the same thing. Chaos.
Yeah, no, I looked up the chaos a ton because I mean it was the same idea. It's brilliant. You take one
it's
big
smart.
tournament.
Like, why not stream after winning something? Like,
Yeah.
Why not? Like, you were getting 60, 70 viewers easily after that, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was in the perfect situation. I recognized it. Like, I had just gotten really good exposure. I was probably the most, what's the right word? Like, when people watched me, they knew, like, they remembered watching me for the most part. You know, I was I was loud.
Yeah, very memorable, very charismatic, very, like, recognizable.
Yeah. So, and like, I knew that's what happened when you know, afterwards, and I knew if I blew up stream, good.
Now I want to ask you this because I've always wondered this. I don't think I've ever asked you this, and I think the viewers would like to know. So for those who don't know, it was you there, Duke, Clef, and who's the other guy?
Buck Sweep. Buck Sweep's who I played first.
Buck Sweep, that's right. So Civil beat Buck Sweep, and then Civil would have had to play the winner of Duke and Clef, and everyone's like, okay, Clef's gonna win this club. You know, I was like, I don't know, it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be Civil and Clef. And Duke beat him. Do you think if Clef wins that game, do you think you beat Clef? Because Clef was good.
Yeah, I had a really good shot at it. Because, I mean, up to that point, throughout club, I never got stopped on offense. Like, I was one of the best. Like, I was one of the best offensive players in the world at that time. Especially I ran such a unique formation where no one played defense. You know, because you couldn't run 1-4-6, and that's all people ran.
Yeah, that's the thing. You couldn't run shit on that because it doesn't align right.
No, exactly. And on top of that, I mean, I could have lost. I'm not saying I would have 100% won, but I had a very good shot against Clef, and my bunch defense at the time was really good. I mean, I gave Free the Penguins, another one of my, you know, really close friends. You know him. It gave him a ton of issues. It gave a lot of the guys in TNC a lot of issues offensively. So I was like, you know, I feel pretty good that year.
Cheech was very good that year.
Yeah.
Off topic.
Yeah, no. And so I mean, I definitely feel like I could have won, but obviously it aligned great when I saw Duke won. But at the same time, I didn't prepare for Duke at all. I'd beaten him in online elims to get there. He qualified through losers bracket, but he was using Nasty Streak, and I actually had not played Nasty Streak at all because I didn't think I was gonna play Duke. I thought for sure I was playing Clef.
Damn, no, that's insane. That's insane.
Yes, my first time.
That club was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, my first time ever playing Nasty Streak was in the club like finals, and fun fact, I was the last person to beat Nasty Streak before it got nerfed. I was the very last person to beat it. So
if you guys don't remember Nasty Streak, that shit was a glitch.
Yeah, they could put it at tight end. They'd put it at tight end and wide receiver and shit, and just beat the shit out of your DBs. It was insane.
The run that year was very, very annoying. You had some pretty good run defense though that game. I remember Duke was just lost on offense.
Yeah, I kind of had to go to some stuff I had like in the back of my brain from a while ago. I remember I tried like the 3-4 odd shoot defense, if you remember that. And I didn't know it very well. I didn't practice it because I didn't think I'd ever have to use it, to be honest. I practiced it maybe like twice and said, whatever. And it wasn't working, so I'm like, shit. Like, I just got to go to plan B and pull this out of my ass. And it was 3-4 over Ed.
You went audible to it and then bring the... Yeah, I remember
that. Yeah. And it was fine. Like, it wasn't like the best thing in the world, but it was fine. Like, it was good.
It was containing it.
It would contain the runs for the most part. And once again, like, my offense, I felt like I was one of the best players in the world offensively, and it showed in that tournament too. I didn't get stopped. I had to kick 3 twice, but besides, like, besides that,
yeah, against a player like that, like you got to take 3, like because if like I said, if you trust your offense that much, like you can score at any time. I would just trust my defense at that time too.
Right.
That's kind of how I would go into that game.
Yeah,
if I know, yeah.
Yeah, but no, to answer your question, I feel like I could have beaten Clef at the same time.
Okay.
He's Clef. He definitely could have beaten me. I think it would have been a really good game. That's what I think.
I thought Clef honestly was like the best he's ever been that year because I remember I played him in a couple money games. And that dude flooded me. I was like, bro, this dude.
Yeah, he was
like,
very good. He was really, really good.
I think I played him at the Classic that year, whatever the first tournament of the year was. No, the year before too. Also, I played him, and he would just run West Coast bunch. He was just so good, and he's always good, man. He's always a good opponent. But that was a fun club series to watch. I remember I was like, geez, man, Still's gonna make some noise. And for those who don't know, the year before he lost to Boogs when match defense was kind of becoming a thing. So that's why if you guys watched him against Boogs that year and he was capping, like that's why, because like Boogs is cool and all, but
no, I'm friends with. I'm genuinely friends with Boogs. I like Boogs. That's kind of a misconception, but like
he's a good guy.
No, but he had beat me the year before. I was just so like I remember that game. I was super genuinely I don't want to say emotional. I don't
it's
think
the
that's
monkey
right
off
word.
the back, bro. But it really is.
Yeah, like I was just so like I was beating him. I was like relief. Okay, I felt like so good to get revenge for the year before.
Dude,
like it felt so good. And it was really about the money from the year before because he beat me. Because that would have been
a month. Win and get in. I remember that.
Yeah, it was the win to get in. I was up 3 in the fourth quarter and I folded super hard. And he beat. But the significance of it was I was broke because I just paid for college. Because I paid for college on my pocket for the most part. Besides like some loans, so I had no money. But I'm like, okay, I'm in the finals of this. I
need to win this.
This is $2,500 right now. Like I need to win this game, and I'm up 3 in the fourth quarter, and I fold back. I lost by like 17, and I was up 3 in the fourth quarter, which was awful. But yeah, so I was like, so it was a big deal for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I remember I lost clubs that year. I actually went 0-3, so at least nice. You did better than me. But I was pissed. I was like, oh man, like, and I just felt so prepared. It's just it's a demoralizing feeling, and I get that. And it's cool how you use that as fuel for the next year because you looked really good in 20. And I mean, just throughout the year, you look good this year too as well. I can't remember what happened in clubs. Can you tell us about that? Did you even try qualifying? Because I didn't keep up to date.
Yeah, no. So clubs this year, I actually. Clubs this year, so like the times I was the best at Madden in my entire life was Classic of 20, LCQ of 20, and then I think the clubs of this year. Everybody I played, I was playing very, very well against. Every TNC guy I was playing amazing against. Even the guys I play outside of TNC like EMB Tony, and some people like that, I was performing very, very well against. I blew out everybody in my club up until I had to play Clef, and he popped me back-to-back times. He played. I couldn't move the ball on offense. My defense was really good, but I couldn't move the ball on offense. So that's what kind of cost me both of those games. He played really, really good defense, and then he ended up losing to Danny, so it didn't even matter.
Yeah. So that was kind of funny to watch. I was like, let's go, Danny. I was like, I just followed you on Twitter yesterday because I saw you were competing.
Yeah,
let's
go. That was interesting.
Oh man, nah. It's funny that you're the only person I really know who liked 20. Like, I think you actually liked the game.
Well, like it was a worse game than this year. It was. But I'd be stupid not to like the game because it was a game that I was very good at.
You were tailored, low-key, it was tailored to your play, bro. I'm not going to lie.
Well, it was tailored to my play in the sense that I was willing to be a little bit more unique. Because a lot of guys were like super stubborn and bunch and trips tight end, which people could run 1-4-6 against, which was the best defense and arguably best defense in Madden history. You could argue it. Whereas against me, you couldn't run 1-4-6, and so no one knew defense out of 3-4 odd. No one knew defense on a nickel really. So it was just super. Like offense was just easy for me. Like it was it was just easy. Like it was.
No, I agree with you. That was a tough offense to stop, in my opinion.
But
overall, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you've had a very good competitive Madden career. You're still going up strong. So obviously, a lot of people don't know you for competitive Madden. And they know you for content creation. And obviously, if you know him for that, obviously you know he's a comp player. But you think of YouTube and Twitch and entertainer before, oh, this guy's a pro player. Like, you don't think of that first. You think of his videos. If I lose this game, or I stop recording if I lose this game, or if I get a touchdown score to me, greatest comeback ever. Those videos are very, very nice. And I want to applaud you on the growth of your channel. You've been doing a great job. You're coming up on 20K. Hopefully pretty soon, so that's gonna be awesome, man. Like I said, man, it's a lot of fun. watching a lot of these guys' YouTube journeys, and that's why I like bringing them on the show just to talk about that. So, how did that start off for you? Because I remember, you know, I saw a dramatic change in your editing style and how you did videos. And like I said, feel free to shout anyone out. Like, you know, obviously, you want to give props to, because like I said, obviously everyone knows the style's, you know, close to Throne and all that stuff.
Yeah, so
and like that's a very cool style, and I want to know how you got into it.
So
like,
I can explain. So basically, from the very beginning. So from the very beginning, like Madden 19, when I first started, you know, taking Madden a little bit seriously, right? When I joined TNC, I knew. I mean, I'm not an idiot. Like, I knew from playing money games that I could lose a game because I could outplay somebody and fumble and lose a game.
Yep.
So I knew very early on, I'm like, yo, if I want to make real money doing this, I gotta go more content creation, right?
You can control that. You can't control the fluke.
Yeah, no, literally, like, so anyways, did that. You know, I did, you know, side stuff for Ace Man, whatever. Had my club, did, you know, blew up on. I don't want to say blew up on Twitch, but in Madden terms, I blew up on Twitch. You know, I you know, in the least cockiest way possible, in Madden terms. Like,
hey man, be cocky.
It did happen. I'm very, very thankful for that. I had a lot of really good friends who helped me blow up on Twitch. BG Fam was someone who rated me quite a bit. Clef even rated me when I was first starting out with like 500 people who helped me. W, a lot of people really helped me out with that, so I'm very, very blessed and thankful for that. YouTube wise, I knew I wanted to get into YouTube. I knew YouTube was a big thing. I knew YouTube was a very powerful thing, but I didn't really understand like why or how. I just knew like it was. So you'll see, like, if you watch my first videos from March to basically about October, you'll see, you know, just very basic Madden videos that you'll see most places. And then, so October, I took a month off, and I took a month off for two reasons. One, I had to get ready for clubs, and that was a big deal for me to repeat in Bucks clubs. So the fact I wasn't able to do that was disappointing. That was probably I was, like I said, really good at that time, and I did take it seriously. I thought if I could win Bucks club again, I'd be able to use the exposure from that to just absolutely take off. But during that month also, I took a lot of time, and I have notebooks. They're in my room. Studying YouTube, studying people like Dream, if you're familiar. And Mr. Beast are two really big ones. David Dobrik, another example, is someone who I like their content quite a bit. And then I started looking at people like Taylor, like Throne, who I'm thankful for to be a really good friend of mine. And so I got to touch on that is the couple of things that are really similar between Throne and I are our thumbnails are very, very similar together. He does the cam box. I do more of a Mr. Beast gaming style where I have a blown up face on the left side of the screen. Those are different, but the actual field thumbnails are the best, or are extremely similar. And the reason for that, honestly, is I just think they're the best. Like, I don't know if there's a better way to do Madden ones. I
just think it looks better when you obviously can add hue, you know, saturation, all that stuff to the field. Yeah, like brighter. It just looks more enticing.
Yeah, like it's not like it's less of a Throne copy and more of like it is copy and Throne, but it's also like this is the best. Like I cannot think of a better way to do it. Than what is happening right now, and that's one of the reasons why I don't use the cam box. I'm like, if I use the cam box, like Throne, like it's gonna literally be a Throne thumbnail. So let me go have a more of a Mr. Beast gaming style.
I'm not gonna lie, I started doing that because I saw a lot of these YouTubers like Throne, MMG doing that. I was like, oh, it looks kind of dope.
Yeah, the cam box.
Add some shadow. Yeah, I was like, I can add some shadow.
No, it definitely like it looks cool, but I'm like, yo, I can't do that. And plus, I do like the big blown up face too. I don't know if I've never done A/B testing between the two. I don't know if one would do better or worse. I know Mr. Beast Gaming uses the big blown up kind of face, and it works well. So I mean, you can't go wrong following what Mr. Beast does.
Yeah. Might as well copy what works.
Right. Yeah. In terms of actual gameplay, I think some of our video titles are the same. I think I'm a little bit riskier with some of my video ideas. I copy the Mr. Beast style.
You're doing. What's your new? You're giving away $100 and scores on it. Is that it?
Yeah, I'll be picking random people to give away have a chance at one drive to stop my offense. If I score a touchdown, you lose. If you stop me, you win $100. That's a very Mr. Beast-esque video. You'll see like the greatest comeback ever was a video I did about 2 months ago. I was down 42-0. And I came back in it. That's more of a dream style video almost. That's kind of where I got that idea from. Just a really long video with almost an impossible goal. If you look at like Dreams, Minecraft manhunts, they're very long videos with a almost impossible goal, beating one person beating four people. Yeah. It was that same idea. It was just that idea is really hard to implicate in Madden. So I've been messing around with a few different ideas of it. You'll see me do like Madden 3v1. That's the same. That's a rip off of that as well. I want to say rip off of it, but you get what I'm saying. Like that's that in Madden. That's the closest I can figure out right now to get that in Madden.
It's a clone.
Terms.
It's a clone.
Right. So I would say our videos aren't necessarily. Some of them are some of the same ideas. But I think I'm a lot more. I think I've reached out and brought in ideas outside the Madden community, more than he does currently.
It's just you bring in like challenges and like there's nothing wrong with him not doing them.
But there's no right or wrong way to do it. But I don't think
players,
I think we're both gameplay guys. I think we're both competitive gameplay guys. People who are good at the game. But outside of that, I wouldn't say.
Sorry to cut you off, but that's a cool style. And I mentioned this with Chaos, but it used to be just gameplay. Like people watch you because you're entertaining. Now people want to watch you because you're good and entertaining. They're like, okay, this guy's entertaining, but he's also a former champion, like a pro Madden player. Like
I have bases behind me.
So I think that type of stuff is very dope. But no, you were mentioning so you kind of just studied obviously how to do it and you taught yourself how to edit, kind of that aspect, right? Like you were just like
all the editing's myself. I watch a lot of what's his name, Logan Paul's editor. What the Hillier.
I don't know his name.
Hillier.
Okay.
Hillier. I watched a lot of his. I took a lot of advice from him. Peter McKinnon was another one too. So I've tried to improve my editing a lot, which I think I have.
I think that's the hardest thing to do, bro. And I hate having to interrupt, keep on doing that, but I think editing, like people always ask me, and I'm sure you get this question, hey, teach me how to edit. Like, I cannot teach you how to edit. You need to teach yourself. It's something you really need to teach yourself.
Yeah, you have to learn what to do, and it's not always what you think. Like I had to find out. I'll give one I'll give one example. Like I use a lot of the analytics to go into my editing too. Like if you watch my videos now compared to 3 months ago, you'll see. One really big example is you'll see I'll show my kickoffs, I'll show my field goals, my punts, and 3 months ago I won't show those anymore. And the reason why is because analytically, when you look at your viewer retention, I found that almost every single time I brought any kind of kicker on the field, literally any kicker, I would get a little dip. So that's an example of me using analytics to kind of affect my editing where I'm making my cuts. Yeah, you kind of have to find your own style with it. Like I've become very Mr. Beast-like in my intros, where I'll use a lot of text on the screen, and I
love that. I think that's the best intro. So guys, I was doing, that kind of thing. I was playing a game of Madden and I was down, that kind of thing. I think that's badass. And then jump right into the game.
Yeah, so literally within 15 seconds, I almost just about every single video within 15 seconds now you'll see me get into the gameplay. If not sooner, I try to do it sooner, but sometimes it just doesn't work out, and sometimes I'm messing around with things. Like my last video, usually I'm testing something in a video too. Like I care a lot about growth, but I care a lot about, I think if I get my videos right, I'll grow at some point. So you know what I'm saying? Like I'm willing to test a video, and if it doesn't do well, that's okay if I learn something from it. So my last video, for example, I tested an intro that I hadn't done in a while, where I took a clip from later in the game, which was a really cool clip in my opinion, and put it at the beginning, and it didn't do very well for whatever reason. The viewer drop off was a little bit higher than my other ones, so I said, okay, we're not gonna do that anymore. I'll try it again in 6 months maybe. So I use a lot of analytics to look at the way I'm gonna structure my videos a lot now. But also some of it's just myself. Like for example, another one, Troyden. Like if you Troyden.
I love Troyden.
If you look at my videos now, when I'll score a touchdown, a lot of times I'll do there's a yeehaw sound effect, and then there's the it's like the horns, like bum 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 bum. That sound effect when I score a touchdown. That's stolen.
That's what he used to do on his streams, bro. Yeah, that's what I remember those. I remember watching those.
So I got him from when he greens something in 2K, there'll be a sound effect.
Giant.
Yeah, ho ho ho, green giant.
Yep.
And then when someone else greens something on him, he'll play it in reverse.
Yeah, yep.
And now I do this. And now I do the exact same thing, but I had to find a way that made it work into Madden. So that's kind of my tidbit of it. So I'm stealing from him, sure. I'm stealing in a totally different game genre and totally different things, and it is what it is. I'm making it my own. So yeah, no, it's definitely something you have to learn on your own though.
I'm glad you brought up Troy, because that's literally one of my favorite YouTubers. He is so
he does a super cool job. Yeah, no, I love the chance to talk to Troy. He's someone who he's an example of someone who makes very long content, similar to what myself and like Throne do.
I'm sure Madden. You remember his Fortnite series where that thing was heavily like it had a storyline, a backstory. That thing was cool. Yeah. Remember the Fortnite series where he'd like introduce someone new every week? I was
no. So that's one thing he does. He'll introduce characters, which is something so cool. He'll literally introduce characters. He has a bunch of them now.
Dude, literally these characters like Donjay and Fungus. They're like
Donjay,
big now. Like,
the little pig.
Who's the other? Zesty Jalapeno. Zesty.
Yeah, he has. I know he has the pig now. The little kid. Piggy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Like, yep.
Super smart. And like that's just an example of like how YouTube, like how like collaboration, not collaboration, having more people in your video, we can help your retention a ton in a video.
That's the thing, and you don't even, and the thing is with these people, you don't have to like. I hate to make it sound like this, but you don't even have to pay for them because like if you're already a big YouTuber, they're gonna want to be in your video regardless. So just like, hey.
Yeah, someone like him. Yeah, I'm curious what he does with them. Like how exactly he handles that kind of stuff. I'm sure they do get paid, but
I'm glad you brought him up, bro. He's like literally one of the main reasons why I got into YouTube because I watched him, Jester before they were big. I mean, RIP to two hype, man. RIP to two hype.
Yeah, no, it's weird because I've only recently gotten into all of that. So like I wasn't even familiar with two hype like that, to be honest with you, or even like Troyden when he was like younger. I'm only familiar with the past like 3 months or so. I've just started looking at his videos. His videos are super entertaining, but like I spend a lot like. Most of mine, like I watch what he does. I think he does a really good job. If you watch one of his Madden videos from like August,
I played Problem in one of them. That shit was hilarious.
Wait, you did?
No, he did. He played Problem. He's like playing
really?
the goat in Madden. Yeah, he did one against Problem. Problem beat him like 60. It was hilarious.
No, there's a video where this is where I kind of learned about music. There's a video in like August where it's like $1,000 pack opening. He has some gameplay. And his music during the gameplay is just I don't know why, but it just like caught my attention. I'm like, yo, this is fucking phenomenal. So I don't know, like that's an example. I'm like, yo, I gotta like figure out what to do with this. I don't really do a good job right now with it, but like I'm learning about it.
You learn, you get more samples, you start to find more music. I mean, it grows. That's the whole process, really.
But like, I recognize
that's the toughest part too, finding some of that music.
Yeah, I have to use an app now to get music. I have to because it's a pain. It's not fun.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's a pain.
Yeah, no. All right, well, I mean, shit, that's pretty good stuff. I'm really excited to see your content, creation career go, further and further, and just see how everything pans out. But last question, and then we'll get into some funny questions, some fan questions. But where do you see yourself in the next couple of years? Like, I mean, what are your goals? If, like I said, if you already can, maybe list some off, that'd be great. And like, what are your goals basically? I'm just gonna leave it as stale and simple as that. It could be personal and also career.
I mean, so like the biggest thing for me, I guess, like I have like a lot of smaller goals, right? Like kind of on the stepping stones. But like the biggest personal goal to me is like I mentioned earlier. My family, like we didn't grow up poor, but we grew up like week to week. One of my goals is to make sure like that doesn't happen like ever again in my family. And then I guess the second goal I would say is like to take care of my parents. So that's a goal I'm planning to have in a few years, to be able to make sure like because like all their life they've been making sure like I was good. So like now I'm in a position where I need to I'm doing everything I can to make sure in 3 years that they can be good, if that makes sense. Really those two are like the biggest like umbrella goals I can say. And I have a lot of smaller stuff inside of that, I guess, but I'll say those two for sure.
Yeah, I like it. Make sure the ones you love and the ones who have taken care of you, obviously all your life, you repay them. That's low key. I appreciate you bringing that up. That's kind of how I'm always thinking. I'm like, I want to make sure my parents don't have to do anything in the future. Just keep on working until that happens. Do you have any like content creation goals or professional like Madden?
Not so much competing. I mean, I'd like to win another club, I guess, but it's not really like competing's not really at a high. Like I don't really care that much about it. To be honest with you, it just isn't worth it in terms of like
I agree.
Like the opportunity cost of focusing on competing is just so great, and there's such a low chance it actually works out. Even if like I could be the best player and still lose. Like that's the thing about Madden, or that's the thing about a lot of things. But I can be the best and still lose, so it's like why would I even?
It's pretty magnified in Madden.
Oh, we definitely magnified in Madden, but I don't really have a whole.
I mean, maybe content creation goals. Maybe do you have like what do you want to do? Like hit 100K subs?
I mean,
I
would love to get. A goal of mine is definitely hit 100K, but like I don't know, stuff like that. Like I'm just focused on like doing them. Like I want to hit 100K soon, or I'm not soon like that, but you know what I'm saying. That's definitely a goal of mine. A big goal of mine, honestly, is to keep my view counts close to my subscriber counts. I think that's actually a really important goal. I think that's a really important goal.
And for those out there, if you could just get 10 or 20% of your viewers, of your subs to watch videos, that's really good. So if you can keep, like Throne does a great job of this. Civil is absolutely killing it right now. You know, you're sitting at what? How many? You're sitting at
16.3.
16, 17, yeah. So you're averaging like at least 10K plus at least on these videos. So that's really important.
I guess another goal.
That's a really good goal.
Another goal I have too is and I actually do like make content like this. Just I'm not in a situation where I can is to make more content where I can give out more money. I genuinely do enjoy doing that. I don't have like a money amount that I have like a goal for necessarily, but that's definitely a goal of mine, like to be able to put myself in a position where I can do more and more content.
You want to get to the point where, like, when you're doing a video where you're giving out money, it's not even a worry. Like,
exactly. Like, exactly. Like, I'd like to get to that point. And like just keep on bringing in unique ideas to Madden. I think I've done a good job in the past few months of doing like the 3v1 of the greatest comeback ever. I think those are really unique concepts to Madden. Maybe not the greatest comeback ever, but the actual feat was. I don't know if anyone's ever made a legitimate YouTube video coming back from down 42-0. I've never seen it.
I've seen some clickbait ones. Where it's
no. I've definitely seen the clickbait ones, stuff like that. But like a genuine actual video, I don't know if anyone's ever done that. Or like the 3v1, that's an idea I've not heard of before, where I went to squads by myself playing.
Yeah, I've never seen that. I actually was confused when I watched. Before I watched it, I was like, okay, he just wanted to squad.
Yeah, no,
I was like, that's pretty.
Yeah,
good.
I need to figure out better titling. I want to figure out better titles.
Your titles are good though. I'm not gonna lie. Your titles are good.
Yeah, my titles got better. I wanted to make sure I found something. I stole my titling. A lot of my titling right now is. Some of it's a combination of Throne, some of it's a combination of TD Barrett.
I was about to say that. Throne and TD, and also MMG kind of try to model. I mean, I think they're all modeling after each other, but...
It's a combination of, really, where like my inspiration is a combination of TD Barrett and Throne, and like to give an example of like what that one would look like would be, let me see really fast.
I'd say MMG's pretty similar.
He is similar. I just like I don't use him as inspiration, if that makes sense. I don't doubt that he's similar. Let me see here. Mad by Finish Top 25 is a decent one. It's not great. I'm undefeated in Weekend League. My new offense is definitely a Throne one. Some of these challenge ones, like I challenged another 25-0 Weekend League players, definitely very Throne-esque. But the Madden, butts. Videos, which I do a fair amount of those are more Minecraft. I got those not from Dream, but from his friend group like Sapnap, George Not Found. Like they were doing like Minecraft butt, so I was like, okay, what if I just do Madden butt? And I know that's a thing like around like a bunch of other communities, but like,
that's your personal inspiration.
Yeah, that's where I directly got it from. Like I don't know where.
I'm not gonna lie, I have taken some titles like you're like I got 25 in Weekend League. Running this #1 new meta offense, like I completely took that. I just took the 25-0.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I was like, go 25-0, running this new #1 meta offense.
Yeah, no, there's definitely things like I don't know. It's as long as you do your own like thing with it for the most part, or I don't know, like
don't just copy and paste it, but like if you're like change it around, that's cool. But like if the content's the main thing, and like I think. You should always get inspiration. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've been using Throne too. I've been using Civil. You know what I mean? I just like I get inspiration with titles, and like I said, I'm trying to work on gameplay myself so I can be up there. But
and I won't lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say I definitely use those guys. I'm trying my best to keep on going more in my own direction with it, but like to be honest,
as you grow, bro, as you start to grow,
I've been doing YouTube for 10 months. You know like I don't know everything. I don't know the best ways to do it.
Yeah.
But
still
like
learning.
Yeah, but I see myself like getting more and more. I guess of my own personal things, like for example, like the yeehaw, like that's like my thing is becoming like a signature thing in my videos where people are like seeing it, and it's like
the country thing is awesome. I will say that it's very very unique.
Well, it's funny the country thing. It started in a Discord call with Throne and I was the first one to throw into a video, but because I was so small, and I am still so small compared to him, he did it like a week after. But anybody new to my channel would have already seen his and then saw mine, so I took it from him. So we had to do a video on his channel where I was in there and we talked about it, and people were like, oh, like damn, like I was kind of giving Civil for shit for no reason.
Yeah, because like if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, he goes touchdown, like that's you know Civil started doing that because like it's funny. I was actually playing one of my friends, like my personal friends, He scored. He's like, touchdown, touch. I'm like, yo. I'm like, you watch Civil? He's like, yeah. He's like, I thought it was Thrones. I'm like, nah, it's Civil.
Yeah,
like,
no. Which like, is what it is. Like, I don't really care. Like, stuff like that like doesn't really bother me too much. There's definitely like some stuff that I'll be like the only thing that'll bother me is like people don't know like sometimes how wrong they are in like a comment. Which is like frustrating.
That's the funny thing, man. Like, and Mike Mack actually put a video out on Twitter. He's like, YouTube's so much easier than Twitch because Twitch you're in the moment. YouTube you can just either ignore it, respond with a funny comment you come up, or just block them. But Twitch, when you're streaming or whenever you're live on YouTube, you see the comment and you're like in the moment. You know what I mean? So many emotions are conveyed.
Yeah, I didn't watch all that video. I only saw the very beginning of it and I clicked off of it. They're both super hard in their own aspect. Like, for example, like with that, definitely.
I'd say in the sense of the trolling, it's
yeah. The live stream is definitely way hard. I know. I was in a live stream the other day where someone said something to me. You know, I just didn't know how to respond. And like, but like it was like a comment where like I had to address it, and it was like a.
I've never seen you get mad in your stream. I've never seen.
I don't really get mad too often.
I've never seen you get mad. Ever seen you get mad? Like,
yeah, really
even in a comp game, never, ever.
Yeah, I don't know. Like to me, like it's a video game in the end. Like I'm not much of a rager. Like. I never really have been. And I mean, we've talked throughout many games. You probably never really heard me rage like you just said.
You know I have.
You are more of a rage. I've never been a super rager. Like I just haven't. I definitely could be animated. Yeah. I feel like, especially like when I'm in front of a camera. But like, I don't think I'm a super rager. But no, I've had some comments before where like I'm like I don't know how to respond to this. Not like even like mean comments towards me, 'cause I don't really care. Like someone wants to call me like, you know, whatever. I don't really care, whatever. But like comments where I'm like, yo, like, I don't know what to say to this actually. Like whether it be just like controversial stuff, whatever. I'm like, oh god, like this is like a weird, like I don't know how to respond to this. But
no, I feel you on that. I don't stream much anymore, but I get what you're saying. Like it's just like you don't respond. You're like,
yeah, I'm like, oh shit.
You see it.
Yeah, I'm like,
and that person knows you see it, but you're just gonna ignore it. Don't give them that satisfaction.
It'll be like someone who's like never said anything in your chat before. They just randomly come on and say some wild shit that you like.
They're like, show us your wiener. I'm like,
well, not even that, bro. Like, it's like no. The worst is like controversial stuff that like you have to like you can't delete it, because it's. I don't want to talk about it in a video.
I get what you're saying. You don't have to bring it up. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's like,
you don't have to bring up any stuff, any politics, nothing like that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I'm like, I'm all right. Like, I don't know what to say to this.
I mean, this has been the longest interview on my channel, man. I appreciate you opening up. Now, we do have some fan questions. Now, first things first, what is your favorite country song? And can you maybe give us a little preview? Not too long, though. I don't want to get this video striked.
My favorite. Oh, let me see. I'm starting to like a bunch of. I'm starting to like a lot of.
Like, what's the one that you, either it's your favorite of all time, or you're like, dude, I hum this every day. Like I sing this, you know what I mean?
Jeez, bro. Like I really feel like I go through so many new ones. I'm honestly, I'm newer to country music. I really am. Like modern country, I'm very, very new to. The Way I Talk, I would say right now, one of my favorite ones is The Way I Talk by Morgan Wallen. Yeah, no.
Give us a little singing preview. I've never heard this
song. Fuck. It'd be like, it goes like, it sounds a little bit like my daddy and I'll cuss around my mama. Got some words you never heard. And I'm gonna stop it right there because I don't want copyright strike. But no, that song's so good. I love that song actually.
Oh man. Oh dude, you know, I feel like you're holding back on us, but it's okay. It's okay. I don't want to.
Appreciate it. No, I just want to get you copyright striked.
Yeah,
that shit is
okay. No worries. I know it could have been a little bit better tune. We've heard you on.
More emphasis.
We've heard you sing before. No worries. Yeah. All right. So the second question, and I'm sure everyone wants to know this, and if you could give like a scientific reasoning behind this, I'll be impressed. Does blowing on your screen actually help them run faster? Like actually.
There's been unofficial 40 times where I was standing behind actual players blowing on them, and their 40 times were faster. Yes, they were unofficial, and there's no proof of those happening, but yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Unofficial, man. I'll take it for its word and its word's worth. All right. And then last question. Ah, man, if I could find this picture, that'd be awesome. Actually, I have a couple videos. So I wanted to ask you. So that picture of you and Throne cuddling. Who initiated the cuddling?
I believe it was him. 'Cause I fell asleep on the bed first. If you remember,
that is true.
Yeah,
you were the little spoon. He was the big spoon.
Yes. Which is fine. I don't mind jetpacking.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I could.
You don't mind what?
Jetpacking.
Jetpacking?
Yeah.
I've never heard that. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's called jetpacking. When like, yeah. That's what it is.
I've never heard that. That's actually, I'm gonna start saying that now.
Yeah, when it's the other way around, when the bigger guy's the little spoon, it's jetpacking. Because you kind of like.
What if the little guy's the big spoon?
When the little guy's the big spoon, it's a jetpack. Because like they're on their back, but they're not like.
So, but throne was the bigger. So what's that called?
That's just called spooning. That's just called regular spooning.
Okay.
But if it was reversed, it'd be jetpacking. Cause I'm smaller than him, so I'd be like lagging on his back. That's what it's called.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's a Harris Heller one.
All right, bro. I'm gonna start using that.
That's good. I like it.
All right, guys. Well, listen, we're gonna have to cut the podcast off. It's literally almost been an hour. It's been a fun episode, man. Civil, before we end the podcast, do you have anyone you want to shout out? Do you have anything you want to plug? Do you have any future news, maybe sneak peeks you can give us? Do you have anything you want to say before we end the podcast?
I mean, to plug myself for a second. I mean, I'm gonna be giving away money on my YouTube. I give away. I do multiple videos a month where I'm giving away money to random people, and it's just it's just random videos sometimes where I'm just going to random subscribers. The other day I went in the middle of a video, I lost a game and said, all right, I gotta give $50 to a random subscriber. Went to random subscribers, picked a guy, gave him $50. So. Don't ask you to subscribe, but check out a minute one of my videos and see what happens.
All right, well, we're going to link all your links down below. Everything from YouTube to Twitch, everything. Social security number, maybe. Yeah. Who knows? Yeah. But anybody, like I said, also, do you have any, friends maybe in real life you want to give a shout out to? Any,
friends in real life?
Just anybody, shout out to Jesus.
No, I mean, okay, so I can do this really short because anybody who sees it knows who they are. I gotta shout out any of my friends from back home who I'm still in contact with. I have friends on Sutherland Street and I have friends in the Paddocks. Simple as that. Those are 3 different friend groups I have.
Kalamazoo, stand up. All right, guys. Well, listen, I want to give my shout out. Shout out to Civil for coming on the show, man. I know this is short notice. Guys, if you don't know, he's in the middle of a lot of big things to come. I won't ruin anything, but it's going to be very awesome to see the next year, I'd say, of content. I'll just say that, and I'll leave it at that. Civil, man, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, JTibbs. Thanks for having me on, brother.
All right, brother. Well, we're going to end the podcast here, guys. If you mess with Civil, I don't want to curse, then check his links out down below. Go sub, go follow, all that stuff, all that good stuff. Guys, this is JTibbs signing off, and as always, peace.